Phantasialand is a theme park in Brühl outside of Cologne, Germany. It attracts approximately 1.75 million visitors per year and started out as a family park that later added more and more interesting rides. The most famous one is Taron, added in 2016, which is the world's fastest multi-launch roller coaster. Phantasialand is not the most famous nor the biggest park in Europe, but I'm here to tell you why it's worth a visit despite that. The park is divided into 6 different areas: Berlin in the 20s, a fantasy area, a Mexico-ish area, Chinatown, a mystery area called Klugheim, and finally an African area. If you're thinking that this is a pretty weird set of themes, I agree. Why the heck do they have a fantasy as well as a mystery area? What's the difference? And the latter 4 seem to merge pretty seamlessly together, with no clear distinction of where Chinatown and mystery starts. The theming itself is excellent, but the areas are not separated. When I walk from China to Mexico, I want to feel like I've traveled somewhere, not just walk over an invisible border and suddenly note that they're selling churros instead of noodles. Give me some cool gates and stuff. Anywho, the first area you get to is Berlin, which looks pretty cool with a gigantic merry-go-round to greet you, but there's really not much else to do here. The park opens at 9, but be forewarned that none of the rides are open until 10. Still, it's great to get here early so you can walk around and get a feeling for the place. Africa is a very nice looking area with great theming and cool dance shows you can watch if you need a break from riding coasters. But the main attraction of Africa is the coaster called Black Mamba. I rode it at 10 when the queue was almost non-existent, but the line never really got too big on this one throughout the day. I love the skulls and whatnot on the way, and I actually love the Black Mamba ride as well. It's an inverted coaster with a completely awesome beginning. I'll do a separate video where I go into more detail about this one. But a quick hint, don't ride this in the back, it's worth waiting for a front seat. Mexico looked pretty bland to me, but Chinatown had a nice serene feeling, even if it blended in with both Mexico and mystery. Things to ride in these areas include Talocan, a weird spinning ride that looks extremely intense, but turned out to be rather tame instead. The fire and water theme is cool, but I just came away from it feeling underwhelmed. The waiting time was non-existent though, so that's good. Chiapas is a supposedly awesome flume ride. Screw this one. The waiting times are too long and I'm not getting wet. Colorado Adventure is a very tame coaster, but it has a really nice theming and it was really pleasant to ride. If you have some scared kids with you, take them on this one. If you're a thrill seeker, ride this one anyway, just because it's really fun. Over in Chinatown you have Feng Ju Palace, a fun house, but I'm not waiting 20 minutes to see that. Screw this one. You also have Geister Rikscha in this area, a slow-moving ghost train with really weird animatronics. Give this one a go just for the heck of it, it's good to rest your feet sometimes. You actually will want to get some rest now and then, cause there's a lot of walking and lots of stairs in this park. It's a small park in general, but 8 hours here does wonders for your thighs. The food options in the park are decent with standard things to buy that barely classify as food. Ignore those, however, and go for the restaurant in Klugheim. The food was nice and they have a heavy metal menu, as in a really heavy menu made out of metal. Speaking of Klugheim, let's get into the meat of the action. This area has a couple of noteworthy rides such as Mystery Castle. The ride itself was alright, it's a bouncy indoors drop tower, but I love the castle theming on the way there, and the park out in the back is an oasis of serenity in this riveting landscape of fun. In Klugheim, kids are put in stocks as well, which is great. There's a ride here called the River Quest, but that one also gets you wet, so screw that, and it has like a 60-minute waiting line. Raik is a small boomerang coaster that first pulls you back and then drops you along a decently thrilling route and then back again through the same route. It was alright when I went as a single rider due to the short waiting time, but I wouldn't do it again. Something I did do again and again though is Taron. Man, this ride is fun. It's just awesome to feel the power of the launch and the twisty turnings of the beautifully laid out track. You barely escape a dragon bite and you twist and turn around the gorgeous theming and you just find yourself grinning throughout the whole ride. The launches are incredibly fun, and this is a ride that just feels great no matter if you sit in the front, the middle or in the back. I'll go into more details on this one in a separate video as well, but it's by far the best ride in the park. Finally, I have to mention the fantasy area, which is a colorful kids area where you also find the Winja Sphere and Force coasters. Those rides are alright and worth a try, but the waiting lines just barely make them worth it. They spin and twist and turn, and they have a nice surprise element too. And speaking of waiting lines, Crazy Bats is a VR coaster that I did want to try, but there was not a single moment when the waiting time was less than 60 minutes. Oh no, not doing that. In 2020, a new coaster is coming to Phantasialand called Fly. It's a flying launch coaster with a steampunk theme, and I would have loved to try it if it had been present now in 2019. It will be placed in the fantasy area, which seems a bit strange, but I guess they're slowly trying to make this area into something that appeals to more than just kids. All in all, Phantasialand is a great park to visit, and it's very pretty. But is it just me who hates these fake plastic trees that you always find? Anyway, Phantasialand is not as big as Europa Park, also in Germany, but Phantasialand is very close to Cologne and easy to get to. Just take the tram from Cologne to Brühl and then you can hop on a bus all the way to the park. You won't need more than one day at the park, so ignore the resorts. Spend time in Cologne instead and enjoy the town. Ride Taron and ride Black Mamba too, but wait for the first row, it's worth it. Well, that's all for now. Have a great day.